Hi, I'm Siobhan Jackson, and I work at the Department of City Planning, specializing in public engagement work. I'm also a founder and leader of the agency's Women's Empowerment Resource Coalition, or WORK. WORK was established by and for women at NYC Planning, and our mission is to promote an inclusive and supportive workplace with mentorship, educational events, and more, so that NYC Planning can deliver the best public service. In honor of Black History Month and in celebration of Black women making a positive impact on our city, I had the pleasure to speak with two incredible public servants here at City Hall. I spoke first with New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, a trailblazer as the first Black council speaker, who happens to be my neighbor and representative in Queens District 28. We spoke about her path to City Council and advice for other Black women in government. I also spoke to Council Member Nantasha Williams, who reflected on her own start in government and how Adams has inspired her. Thank you so much, Speaker Adams. What kinds of challenges did you face as a Black woman when you began your career? Did you ever imagine that you would have a leadership role in this profession?
Oh, we're talking about my career way back when, in the late 80s, early 90s. I started out in telecommunications. And starting out as a Black woman, I was looking for other Black women role models in corporate America. And lo and behold, I actually had one. Starting out with MCI, probably way before you were ever born. But MCI Telecommunications, I was under a fierce Black woman manager in that company. And she was the only Black woman manager at that time who actually ran a staff of customer service representatives, and I was brought onto her team. And it was a marvelous group, a diverse group, primarily of women of color. And that was my entree into corporate America, where I stayed for, 2 decades before I ever got into the political arena. So that laid the groundwork for management, organization, speaking, teaching, mentoring, modeling. As a Black woman, that laid the foundation for somewhat 20 years later, coming into politics out of nowhere. And really, politics did come out of nowhere. I left corporate America and tried to figure it out because corporate America was no longer me. As women, we morph and we change. We change over cycles, we change over years, we become different people because that's just the way we grow as women. We learn from our mistakes and we grow because of our challenges, and I am no different than anybody else, and that's exactly what my path has been, just growing year by year. Coming into politics came out of grassroots and people seeing things in me that I didn't see in myself, but yet I already had a foundation in so much to bring me here. I always say, I didn't choose this thing chose me, but I know that I was born to do this work.
What advice would you give to other Black women that want a career in this profession?
Oh, take your vitamins. You know, politics is very different than any other work that I've ever done. It is the loneliest space that one could ever be in as a professional. Being an elected official, you truly are a servant of the people. And if you're not prepared to do that, then, don't even dip your toe in the water, because you really do become that servant, that person whose private life, personal life takes a back seat to the lives of thousands that you now represent, that need you to be their voice, particularly in underserved communities like mine in District 28, the Great 28 in Southeast Queens. We were underserved for so long, coming out and becoming the voice for the voiceless. As a mother, as a grandmother, as a wife, and knowing that now my priorities had to shift a little bit and become the priorities of other people's mothers, other people's grandmothers, other people's wives and aunties and cousins and sisters. That's become my priority, and my advice to anyone coming into this: be prepared to serve, because if your heart isn't in it, then your mind and your body will not be in it. You have to be in this thing. All of you has to be in this thing for the right reasons. It's not a celebrity thing. We make it look good because we're in the public sphere. So we have to make that appearance, but just know that with the outer appearance comes that inner intestinal fortitude that gets the work done. And if you're not prepared with your whole heart, then stay out of it. But if you've got a heart to serve, come on in and join us.
Councilmember Williams, what was your first encounter like with Adrienne Adams?
My first encounter with then Adrienne Adams was when we both were running for different seats. So she was running for a state senate, I was running for a state assembly. We probably were one of the very few women who were running for office at the time. And seeing her be so graceful, the fact that she was doing the same thing as me was encouraging. There wasn't a lot of smiley faces in the room, but she was one smiley face. And oftentimes when you're a younger person, seeing someone in different positions, seeing how they carry themselves sort of gives you inspiration. It gives you sort of motivation, and even that like distance mentorship. I don't think people sort of realize that, that even though someone may not be directly mentoring you, just seeing them and seeing how they're carrying themselves and who they are and what they represent was also pretty inspiring.
Thank you for joining me today. From all of us in NYC Planning's Women's Empowerment Resource Coalition, thank you to Speaker Adams and to Councilmember Williams.